Good morning, church. It is good to be with you here today. And today we get to look at the book of Joshua. Joshua is a nice book. The first half of it is filled with great victory from the Israelites. They're doing good work. Unfortunately, the back half is filled with some bad choices and some defeats. And that's just the cycle of life when we are pursuing God and working after His purposes with all our might. Then there is victory and there's good work that's happening. When we go after our own devices, when we don't consult God, then we don't win. He is the source of all victory and all that is good. So of course that only makes sense. A couple things in the first chapter that are worth looking at here today. The first one is that Joshua is told four times in chapter 1 to be strong and courageous, 3 by God and 1 by some of the other tribes, that they are encouraging him to fulfill his mission, be strong and courageous. I know we talked about that some yesterday, but that continues to be the admonition for us Christians in our Christian walk. Be strong and very courageous. And then chapter 1 verse 3 gives us a fulfillment. God says to him, I have given you every place where the sole of your foot treads, just as I promised Moses. And if we go back to Genesis and look at Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, each of them received a promise that God would bring them back to this land and establish them into this place. But they were told, but you won't get a foot of land for your own. And now Joshua gets every place where your foot treads is yours, a fulfillment of the promise, hundreds of years in the making. And it's just exciting to see it fulfilled, and we get to be thrilled along with the Israelites in this journey. And so let's just remember, God doesn't forget his promises. Peter says that God is not slack concerning his promises, as some consider slackness. Another connection I wanted to make was in our psalm for the day, Psalm 37. And we're told that what we need to do is commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will act. This is verse 5 and verse 6. Making your righteousness shine like the dawn and your justice like noonday. The prophet Isaiah actually picks up on this, and he talks about what is true fasting. And he says this is chapter 58 of Isaiah. And I recommend you go read the whole chapter, but we're told that what is true fasting? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, to bring the poor and homeless into your house, to clothe the naked when you see him, and not to ignore your own flesh and blood? Then your light will appear like the dawn, and your recovery will come quickly. Your righteousness will go before you, and the Lord's glory will be your rear guard. To fulfill what the psalmist says that we ought to do to let our righteousness shine like the dawn, Isaiah identifies that one key component of that is fasting, where we give up what is ours so that we can better meet the needs of others. And that is a great encapsulation of the Christian faith, that I put the other before me, that I'm pursuing the good of those that are around me. And in the perfect Christian world, as I pursue the good of those around me, I have other people pursuing my good. And so that's why people say, well, what about me? Well, we don't think about ourselves, but ideally we have a slew of other people thinking of us, pursuing our good, as we pursue the good of others. And it's this circle, this chasing of doing good for one another and building one another up. So we anticipate that our God, who is for us, will be with us. Matthew 6, he promises to provide for us. That's one of his promises, that if we pursue him, all the things we need will be added to us. And so it's good for us to hold on to those promises today and to truly let our righteousness shine forth through the power of Christ who is within us. You have a good day, church. I look forward to talking to you soon again.